Good evening and welcome to tonight's board meeting. First, I would ask for a motion to appoint Maria Kalecki, our intern.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you, Maria. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Shapiro?
Here.
Trustee McGrew is absent. Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Ryan?
Here.
Trustee Michaels?
Here.
Trustee Dwyer is absent. Mayor Kitching?
Here.
We have a quorum.
If you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God bless America.
Amen.
Somebody said amen.
Well, it's okay.
That works. Okay. Officers' report, starting with myself this evening. I have a request for the approval of a resolution authorizing attendance at the Illinois Municipal League's annual convention. Secondary to that, I have an announcement at our village-wide garage sale. You'll see these posters all over town. We've put them up already. The only difference this year is that we're going to do it all weekend long. It'll be September 16th, 17th, and 18th. We had a lot of citizens come back and tell us that it was too much work to do it for just one day, so we just decided to do it for the whole weekend. And I think they'll all be very, very pleased this year. We're also, you can call my office, and we will put you on a list that will be on the website so people know exactly where the homes that are participating will be at. Also, we have the Alsop Beautification Committee's annual fall fundraiser, which is large 9-inch potted mums. There's applications for that to order out in the hallway, and you could also get them offline.
Mayor, can we have the village attorney prepare an ordinance with regards to the village-wide garage sale? Because we have to abate the fees.
We can. We never have, I don't believe.
You can do it by motion. I don't know if they have it as an action item on here or not.
It isn't, and
I mean, generally it's sort of like per the petitioner where you allow the outdoor events at liquor. You generally just do that by motion. You don't really need to.
as long as we got it covered, then.
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah. If it's not on the consent agenda, then I will probably just put it on next meeting and make sure it gets voted on.
Okay, great.
Moving along, clerk's report.
Okay, I have the presentation of the minutes of the July 28th public hearing, presentation of the minutes of the July 28th, 2016 special board meeting, presentation of the minutes of the August 1st, 2016 board meeting. I have a presentation of the FOIA report for June 2016, presentation of the FOIA report for July 2016, and I also have a presentation of the IDOT motor fuel tax allotment for July 2016 in the amount of $44,103.15. And that's all I have.
Attorney's report.
No report.
Engineer's report.
Just a couple construction updates. They finished paving the surface course along Costner Avenue between 119th and 123rd Street today. They have striping left to do. 122nd, they're planning on paving this week, hopefully, weather dependent. The transfer bins are substantially complete. They look very good. And Jewel is still on hold because of night work.
Do you also have any update on the Cicero construction from 131st to 147th?
That's an IDA project.
Right.
I believe that there was a pre-construction meeting a couple weeks ago, but I'm not sure when they're starting.
Mike, can you give us a little information on that?
We're scheduled to begin on the 8th. I haven't seen anything, and those signs are up. Letting voters know that construction will be happening in respective ways. So one day it was closed. That was it. Back open again.
Also expect lane closures on that one.
Oh, yeah. Cicero Avenue, one lane north and south is going to be brutal.
So able to back up all the way to also.
No, Oak Lawn.
Bridgeview. I don't know. Okay, at this point, we've reached the public forum. Is there anyone here who wishes to address anything on our village agenda this evening? Having heard from no one, standing committees, Finance, Trustee Shapiro.
Mayor, I have a request for the approval of a list of payroll dated August 5th, 2016 as follows. Under the earnings, I have a gross payroll of $452,557.80, minus the voluntary employee deduction and taxes of $160,892.57, for a net payroll of $291,665.23. Next, I have a request for the approval of accounts payable dated August 15, 2016 as follows. Under corporate, $567,650.08. Road and Bridge, $220,147.77. MFT, $12,842.68. 911, $293.28. The Pulaski Corridor TIF, $4,300. Waterworks, $14,849.98. Heritage 2, $93,498.03, for a grand total of all funds of $913,581.82. Next, I have the request for approval to engage for the 2016 refunding and advanced refunding general obligation bond, Barth and Wortham as verification agents, Zions Bank as bond register, the paying agent and escrow agent, Chapman and Cutler LLP as disclosure counsel, Lewis Kankar Ltd. as the bond counsel, and Kane McKenna Capital Inc. as a municipal advisor, and Bernardi Securities Inc. as the underwriters. Next, I have a request for the approval to authorize intervention in the property tax appeal for Griffith Labs 2011-2014. And that's all I have from Finance.
Trustee, we do have representatives from Kane McKenna and also,
Bernardi.
I'm sorry?
Bernardi.
And from Bernardi Securities. So if there's any questions from the board on any of that?
Trustees, I don't think so. We did bring this up at the Finance meeting, and I don't think anybody had a problem with it then. But if you have any questions, feel free.
I think just for the benefit of the public,
Sure.
while everyone's here, maybe, folks, if you can give us a quick overview of what we're planning to do. Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
There's
Use
a
the
mic right
microphone,
there, sir.
please, and tell us your name first.
Yeah, sure. I'm Bob Vail with Bernardi Securities. We've been the underwriter for the village, I believe, since 1998.
Yep.
And we found a couple refinancing opportunities for the village. As you may know, interest rates are basically near historic lows right now. And there's a couple bond issues that the village has, the 2005 B bonds and also 2009 A bonds, which are both refinancing candidates, as well as currently an installment purchase agreement for the LED street lighting that could be refinanced as well. We're looking at a total savings, if we were able to lock the rates in today, of about $768,000. That savings is almost 8%. And we're not changing the terms of the issues. We're keeping the maturities the same. Basically what we're doing is, just like you would do on your mortgage, we're refinancing that higher rate at today's lower rate, and those savings are net savings to the village. So that assumes all estimated costs of issuance. So if we were able to lock that in today, over $750,000 in interest savings by doing those refinancing.
That's fantastic news. I know our finance director, Kent Olivan, who's not here this evening, gave us a ballpark idea at the finance meeting, but that's actually better, so that's great news.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, obviously it's over time. How long of a bond is that? Is that still like a 23-year bond, or?
The 2009 issue goes out to 2033.
Okay.
So that was when the bonds were originally issued in 09. They went to 2033. We're not going to extend the term. We're just going to keep everything the same.
Very good.
That's the longest issue. The 2005 issues, I think, only 4 or 5 years left remaining.
So,
on that
so it's about a 16, 17-year bond.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hi, Mary. Did you want to speak?
I have nothing to add. I think it's a substantial savings for the village and an opportunity that, is good to undertake at this particular time.
Yeah, that's good business. Thank you much.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Did you have a request approved?
Oh, wait, I do have one more thing. Trustees, we met last week and went over the refuse contract. Okay, what I'd like to do this evening is I'd like to get a consensus from the trustees. I know we talked last week. I know that myself and Trustee Dazell and Trustee Dwyer, who's not here this evening, who are members of the Finance Committee, we're all on board with moving forward with this, but I would like to get a consensus this evening to award the contract to our lowest bidder, Republic, and have the attorneys start preparing the contract up for the next board meeting. So if I can get consensus on that?
It's fine with me. Yes.
Good with me.
I had one question. One of the vendors that submitted a request for a bid, he actually he had broken his out with residences versus condos, and there was a significant difference in cost when he did that. And that night, last Monday, Wednesday, when we had the discussion, we never had a firm number on how many residences versus condos there were, because there was a significant savings on that yet, too. I don't know how that was going to shake out, and that was part of the reason why we were going to wait to answer any other questions, because a couple of the trustees weren't available at the time yet then, too, before we did that. So I think that was the timeline we had given, was the next meeting we were going to try and approve that.
Well, I don't have that information, but I can tell you this, that every single vendor was given the same RFP. Same wording, and they all quoted on the same thing.
Right, well, there's two of them that broke it out, residences versus condos.
So,
And it was definitely, we all saw it was definitely less money. None of us kind of understood why, but that we never had a tally on who did what, just to confirm that, to know that we did qualify that correctly. So that would be my only concern before we approve it. I mean, we have to put that on an agenda to approve yet then, too. But, I mean, I agree that our current vendor had a great number, but I'd like to, before we, obviously we have to put this to a vote next meeting, I'd like to confirm what those numbers represented.
well, I'll see if I can get those numbers for you from Mr. Oliver, and he's out of town
Right,
currently.
I know, I understand.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Fire, Trustee Michaels.
I have a list of bills and timesheets. I also have the presentation of the July monthly activity report. The report runs from 7/1/2016 to 7/31/2016. Structure fires were 3, vehicle fires were 3, other fires were 5, total fires for the month, 11. Emergency medical treatment calls were 170, total rescue calls were 170. False calls were 44 for the month. Total calls for the month were 284. Total fire dollar loss for the month was $5,000. Also, Chief, could you give us an update on our new lieutenant?
Yeah, Chris Miller was promoted to temporary lieutenant about a week and a half ago. He's doing great. He's been on shift 4 times as a lieutenant, and hopefully we're able to keep him as a permanent lieutenant. Good addition, good leadership skills. He's also very instrumental in our fire prevention bureau at this time also.
All righty, thank you, sir. That's all I have, Mayor.
Please, Trustee Shapiro.
Mayor, other than the normal list of bills and timesheets, I have the presentation of the July monthly activity report. On the patrol division, the number of calls for the month were 2,939. There were 435 reports issued, 96 arrests, and 535 citations. I also would like to say that, just a comment real quick about the Nights Out a couple weeks ago at Nights Out was a very great event, and I think everybody that was there participated, had a good time. I know that the trustees cooked up over 780 bags of popcorn, which is, I think, our highest so far. So it was a good night. That's all I have, Mayor.
Public Works Trustee Dwyer's not here, so committee.
I don't have it.
I can take that. Public Works, a request to go out to bid for the annual sidewalk program. We also have a request for approval to award the uniform contract to UniFirst. And then we also have a presentation of the monthly activity report for July. That's all we have.
Building Trustee Michaels.
I have a list of bills and timesheets and presentation of the July monthly activity report, which reads as follows: from 7/1/2016 to 7/31/2016. Number of permits issued were 98. Amount collected was $43,511.53. And the estimated cost of construction was $1,695,661.
Nice number.
I have requested assistance from Roger Early to assist in the annual inspections for the apartments. Our head of the building department is having some medical issues, so he really needs the assistance of Roger to assist him with the inspections. So that is the reason for that.
I think that's a good idea, especially moving forward with Roger's situation. That might be a good idea for him to do that as well. So.
All right, next I have a request for approval for Shepherd Athletic Booster Club to place signs around various locations to advertise their craft show on December 3rd, 2016. Request for approval for Pappas Restaurant to place temporary signs from August 16th, 2016 to October 16th, 2016. And a request for approval for FIM Stores to hold a tent sale from August 23rd, 2016 to September 26th, 2016. That's all I have.
Sewer and Water Trustee Dizelle.
The request for approval to award the Water Distribution Leak Survey Program to M.E. Simpson in the amount of $13,125. This will survey 75 miles of water system, including fire hydrants, system, and service valves. There was 2 proposals received. This is the cheaper of the 2. The presentation of the July monthly activity report, list of bills, and employee time records. That's all I have, Mayor.
License Trustee Ryan.
The License Committee requests approval for a list of licenses dated August 15th, 2016. And we have one new business license application. This is going to be from Prestige in Art. They're going to be located at 12605 South Kroll Avenue. This is going to be a cabinetry business, and we welcome them to town.
Economic Development Trustee Ryan.
No, Mayor, we just put it on there because at the last meeting, we did approve the establishment of an Economic Development Committee. What we didn't do was establish a membership in said committee then, too. And what I put on the agenda was that, per the village ordinance, the village board reserved the right to establish committee assignments, yet we did not form membership. So at this time, I'd like to ask if we can open the floor up to request nominations for 3 memberships of the Economic Development Committee as village trustees.
I would like to nominate John Ryan, Trustee Michaels, and Trustee Dwyer.
Second that.
Any other nominations?
No. We actually had a brief discussion at the last meeting, and I had asked the trustees who was interested, and as Trustee Shapiro just mentioned, that those same 3 trustees mentioned that they were definitely interested in participating in the program.
Okay. The next up then are they accepting the nomination, Trustee Michaels?
Yes, sir, I am.
Yes, sir, I would too.
And how do we know that Trustee Dwyer is accepting the nomination? Because that should be on the record.
I agree. She didn't, obviously because she's not here. She did state her intent at the last meeting.
Right.
Madam Attorney, is that valid?
Well, you've nominated her. I mean, she can decline it later if she doesn't want it.
Sure. Okay. Just want to make sure we're doing it right. Second part of that was that I'd like to ask if we can open the floor for a request.
Well, let's have the clerk do a vote on that
Thank
first.
you. Okay.
Okay, we had a motion.
Would you like to make your motion?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Trustee Shapiro
your
made the
motion.
motion.
My motion is to have Trustee Ryan, Trustee Michaels, and Trustee Dwyer as members of the Economic Development Committee. My motion.
I seconded that.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Shapiro,
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell,
Yes.
Trustee Ryan,
Yes.
Trustee Michaels.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, special committee reports, village properties, Trustee Michaels.
I'm sorry, Mayor. Let me, if I would, please, I just want to finish with this. The second half of that membership would be open the floor to request nominations for Economic Development Committee Chairperson.
I would motion for Trustee Ryan as the chairperson.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, you want to call the roll?
Trustee Shapiro,
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell,
Yes.
Trustee Ryan,
Yes.
Trustee Michaels.
Yes.
We have. Motion carries.
And the final,
Special committee reports, village properties, Trustee Michaels.
excuse me, Mayor, that final part of that, we were going to ask for a report from our Economic Development group, the Mannheim Group. He was going to give us a report.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that on there.
That was letter E. Discuss the latest revisions of the Pulaski Road TIF and facade application.
You want to give him a microphone, please? Hi.
Hi. I'm
glad
Roger
you're here.
Hopkins. I'm here to represent Mannheim Solutions tonight. Chris Mannheim has taken the lead on redrafting most of these regulations, and we've gone through a number of drafts over the last couple of months. I think the most prominent things that we've done is, with the urging of Mary Thompson, we've eliminated one of the elements of the full application process, which was the letter to request an inducement resolution, and have just the application suffice for it.
Correct.
The other thing we wanted to do was focus everybody's efforts on complying with the Prevailing Wage Act, which a couple of the applicants had indicated that they weren't really that knowledgeable of it, so we want to make a prominent mention of it. And then finally, one of the things that I wanted to mention to you is that there is a preference in here, and especially the facade application, for local contractors to be used for the construction and remodeling projects, because everyone who uses local contractors gets a 10% boost in the amount of the grant when they use a local contractor. For the other applications, which is non-facade related, but for redevelopment of a property, you can give an applicant more points because of using local contractors and because of creating more jobs locally through that process. So everyone can be rewarded through that process, and that's what we hope will do. Now, the next step, if you agree that these applications are sufficient, is we'll be out circulating these in a meeting to the merchants that Mary Schmidt's going to help us set up on the morning of September 9th, which is the best time for many of the business people that Mary has been working with through the CalSag Enterprise Zone. And so, bringing the TIF program together with the Enterprise Zone benefits, we hope is going to boost people's interest in wanting to undertake remodeling projects and facade improvement projects. So, any questions?
What time again? September 9th, what time, Roger?
We're thinking about 8:30 in the morning.
Okay. And like you said, that's going out to the TIF.
Merchants up and down Pulaski Road. And,
Right.
Yep.
Okay. No, I just made a copy for everyone to share, just to kind of review these applicants. They look great. I appreciate your hard work on this yet, too.
And we'll work with Catherine and the mayor and, Brian and other people to put them up on the village website real soon, too.
Okay. And then you also had, you covered it then, discussed the meeting for the, we're going to meet at the Chamber of Commerce. Is that where they're setting that meeting up, or are we going to use, I don't think it's big enough. We need space here, don't we, Mary?
We're going to need...
Probably right here in the boardroom? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Roger.
Thanks, Roger.
Special Committee reports, Village Properties, Trustee Michaels.
I have a list of bills and the request for approval to go out to bid for the replacement of carpet in the hallways from Heritage 1 and Heritage 2. I'm recommending that this be tabled until the next board meeting. We need to do a little more investigation into the financial side of that. Next, I would also, I have a letter from Roger Early. Reads as follows. I would like to update the progress of the public washrooms. The tile is completed, the plumber is scheduled for Wednesday, and the countertops are scheduled for Thursday. The participation of doors will be scheduled as soon as they are in. Again, we would like to thank everyone for their patience during this remodel. If there's any questions or concern, contact me, Roger Early. Thank you, Roger. Appreciate that update. And that's all I have under Village Properties, Mayor.
What item number was that that you tabled?
P is in Paul.
P.
Thank you. Insurance Committee,
No report.
Ordinance and Legislation, Trustee Dizelle.
No report at this time, but I'd like to see if I can get another committee meeting. We're looking for Monday the 29th. So if the trustees can let me know if they're available for that.
29th would be fine for me.
Okay.
We'll have it 6:30, I think. Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
IT, Trustee Ryan.
No report this evening.
Boat Launch, Trustee Ryan.
Boat launch is up and still running well. I know we were going to do some maintenance out there. And Mike, I didn't get a chance this weekend. I was out of town. Did we start with some paint out there yet? Okay. Okay. Couple summer helps. All right. Very good. Okay. Again, we appreciate the hard work by Mr. Hardy and Mr. Volpe. It's been very hot outside to be out there at the launch. That's all I have, sir. Nothing.
Planning and Zoning Committee.
No report, Mayor.
Are there any presentations, petitions, or communications which we have not covered under ordinary business?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. Fire Chief. Chief, I just want to make sure, on the list of bills that, when I was going over what we're paying here tonight, there was one charge in there from McCarthy Ford for, it just says 2011 oil change for like $3,000. Is that right?
No, we had to replace the transmission in the shift commander's car.
Okay.
I don't know how they coded it as an oil. It's a little bit more
it
than
said
oil.
oil change. I'm like, that's an expensive oil.
Expensive oil. It'll last for a long time, so.
Yeah. It's good stuff, you know. So, thank you, Chief. Yeah.
It was done at a dealership.
They're a little higher, but.
Yeah.
Trustees, are there any items you wish to remove from the consent agenda?
Item F, Mayor.
I'm sorry?
Item F is in Frank.
F is in Frank.
And I have item P tabled.
Yes, item P is tabled. All right, I need a motion to establish the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Madam Clerk, would you add the remaining information? Take your time.
Item number D, list of payroll is $291,665.23. Item E, list of accounts payable is $913,581.82. Item F has been tabled. And item P has been tabled.
Actually, the dollar amount for D should be $452,557.80.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Please call the roll.
Who's our motion? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Who's our motion? I'm sorry.
Trustee Shapiro made the motion.
Shapiro and Michaels. I'm sorry.
Right. Michael seconded it.
Okay, Trustee Shapiro,
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Ryan?
Yes.
Trustee Michaels?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'd now entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second?
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Shapiro?
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Ryan?
Yes.
Trustee Michaels?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Returning to item F, approval of resolution. My mouth stopped working. Resolution authorizing attendance at the Illinois Municipal League's annual conference.
Mayor, the reason I removed it is it appears that this has been changed. I don't recall this being this way before, where it allows not only elected officials but designated employees up to 5 department heads or / employees. The conference rate is $950 per attendee, in addition to whatever the necessary expenses are. It just seems like that's a
Yeah, I can respond to that because I drafted it. Some of the department heads may choose, well, and the previous one did have department heads. It's a designated department heads besides elected officials. And I amended that so that the department heads, if they have somebody under them that they want to send because they're not available or whatever, like a deputy chief or manager or something like that, they could do it. But it's only going to be, there's a cap on it of 5. There wasn't a cap on department heads before. So there's a total cap on how many non-elected officials can attend, but it does allow the department heads the flexibility to send the person they think is most appropriate.
I don't recall department heads having that prior, and
Well, I have a copy. I mean, I was given a copy of the last.
I trust it. I trust it.
And the 950, I think the last one was 850, and apparently that wasn't enough to cover the parking costs at the Hilton, so that it was suggested to raise that.
That
Between
still
the
wouldn't-
registration fee, the hotel, and the
That's-
parking, that's about what it comes to.
Okay. But that still wouldn't cover like a day's wages then too, right? If you sent 5 employees there? In other words, that's not a cap then. The cap gets bigger then too, right?
Well, this is the reimbursement cap.
Okay.
I mean, the wages wouldn't be reimbursable. I mean,
Right.
Do we want to table this until we discuss it with Trustee Dwyer and Trustee McGreal as well, or no?
I would think that it seems to me that that's a large expense, and I'm not sure of the benefit for it.
I know.
I would agree with the table. I mean, this isn't, the conference isn't until October.
No, it's September 22nd.
I'm sorry, it is September, right, you're right. I'm always thinking,
I know, because I'm speaking.
I saw it, Kathy, I looked that up. You signed
Well,
up
I will say that there's a lot of valuable information to be obtained, not only for elected officials, but also for department heads, et cetera. Particularly, even our attorneys have a station there, and a lot of our vendors, et cetera. Lot of them that we work with, including Robinson Engineering, et cetera, et cetera. So there's, it's a good,
I know that it's
mesh of
beneficial.
information between municipalities and
Could I make some suggestions if
I've
you
seen
want?
the conference materials come back, and certainly, I think the last ones that went were trustees Michael and Dwyer, and they came back and they had distributed a lot of that information, and certainly we even acted upon some information that was presented at that point in time.
Right. Could I make a
don't see the benefit of
suggestion?
sending,
Right. I can make a suggestion to try to
please.
cut back on the costs. You may want to tell employees that they can't get reimbursed for the hotel. That'd drop it down considerably. I mean, I'd have to look at the rates, but that would probably limit them. I mean, you could do their conference fee plus parking, which would be about $400.
It's still about 400, yeah, because
Because, they could commute if they wanted to go. I know the trustees sometimes like to stay because there's earlier morning sessions, but, I mean, that's an option. And I put in there a limit on 5 just to try to keep the cost down. I mean, I drafted it, so I'll tell you what I changed. And I did put the cap in there. And another thought I did have was the hotel, because that's a substantial expense. Conference fee itself, I think the early bird rate is like $310. So
And
And the parking there is like $36 a day. It's
And when is
ridiculous.
the early bird expire, and when does conference have to be
September
booked?
2nd, I think.
And our next meeting is
September 6th.
6th, yeah. So,
So it sounds like a fair compromise, because really, if you have the potential for almost 11 people, like per this ordinance, or this resolution rather, to go through, you could be talking as much as $11,000, even, so I mean, we just went through a real tight budget situation. We were slashing 500 here, 800 there to get these numbers down as low as we possibly could to make a good budget, and to go back and spend $11,000, but possibly on conference monies like that doesn't seem fair to the department heads that we cut from their budgets recently. So I'd really like to be a little more frugal here.
Right, well,
I just don't like the idea of expending at this point in time with our budget the way it is, a field trip.
If nothing else, I would agree with what you suggested, Madam Attorney, that at least we eliminate overnight stays, because you're still talking the Hilton Hotel. So,
yeah, and it's up to you what you want to do with the trustees.
Right.
I just made that recommendation for the employees.
Would you make that motion then with those modifications?
I would. I'll make the motion to. I know these are important to do, but I hate to
what you could
contradict
do
what I'm
is
trying to
change
say
the
here.
$950 to $450. That would cover the conference fee and parking or transportation. And then, that'd be that's one way to do it.
Otherwise, we have had trust, and I've attended the conference a couple of times, and I know we've been reimbursed after which, and I've had to take a day off of work and whatnot just to go down and attend these type of functions got done too. So in the past, yes. I mean, I think I only did like one day here and one day there, so it would still add it up to whatever it was. But I know we've spent, as you just said, maybe $300-400 overall trying to go down to these. And these are good conferences, don't get me wrong. I mean, these are good for all the elected officials. But I would agree for reimbursement, but I don't, you know what, Madam Attorney, you're saying, and as Trustee Dalzell said, I'd certainly take your word for it, but we've included others, because in other words, as a compromise, I appreciate taking out the overnight stay, but I was going to keep it as elected officials is where I was going with.
I mean, that's up to you. The most recent one that I was given said elected officials and designated department heads. The only thing I did is put / designated employees so the department head could send somebody else if they wanted to. I mean, that's all I can tell you is that that's what the last one that you approved said.
And that's where I'm coming, everyone was part of this budget recently, and like I said, I would feel terrible being contradictory to all the cuts that we made, and then we took money from other budgets and so forth then too, just to go back for conference monies then too. And to open this up to potentially 11 people if they wanted to seems excessive.
Yeah, I agree with you, Trustee Ryan. I think we should just limit it to the elected officials. That's it.
I would keep it to elected officials and just reimbursement, as you suggested, Madam Attorney, of conference monies and parking fees, no overnight stays. I mean,
Okay.
There's got to be a significant compromise to this.
Okay, so your motion is to delete the hotel expenses, change the total amount to $450, and just have elected officials.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, thank you.
Agreed.
So that'd be your motion, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well said.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Okay. Trustee Shapiro?
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Ryan?
Yes.
Trustee Michaels?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Do you have a number to assign to the resolution?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay, just so you have it on your record.
Item F will now be resolution number 2016-8-R-2.
Great, thanks.
Returning to the agenda, item P was tabled. Did you have a date for that, trustee? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Our next meeting is, I believe, September 6th.
Just till the next meeting.
You know what, Mayor, too, and I apologize, item N, it appears that there's actually two items in there. Can both of those be under that same, or should we label one of those as item S?
Well, you kept them all on the consent agenda. Probably what I would suggest is that when the clerk does the minutes, that maybe she separated out into a 1 and a 2 underneath it, so that...
Okay, thanks.
Any unfinished business before the board? Any new business?
Can I brief the board on some unfinished business?
Certainly.
First thing, Traffic Safety Committee, did you by any chance get my email that I sent out in reference to the schools? I did a group email.
I did. I'm going to try and set up something for next Monday, yes.
Okay, did you by any chance get any responses where they may have circumvented me? I saw one response and that was it.
No, you know what? The Superintendent Gwaltney asked me just to refer to the notes he sent me recently, so I pulled those up.
Oh, so you have notes?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't see those, so I wasn't privy to those.
Oh, no, I'll send it back over to you, Chief.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That number one, and number two, I wanted to brief the mayor in regards to that landlord young woman that addressed the board last week. In about 2 weeks, I'm having a group meeting of all of those. I put it out that it was highly recommended that the landlords attend. So any other department heads are welcome. It was in regards to the parking lots. Yeah, the 4 flats. So the fire department's welcome, Public Works is welcome. We're shooting for 2 weeks. We sent out a group email to all the landlords.
Yeah, I'd like the superintendent of the streets to be there.
Okay. So I'll include all of them. I just wanted to follow up and let you know that we did get on that.
Great, appreciate it.
Address concerns and make some corrections in that alleyways.
Great, great. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's all. Thank you much.